Have you ever felt trapped? Like the whole world was out there waiting for you, but something was keeping you from reaching it? What if the walls around you weren't made of stone, but of fear? This is the story of a girl with magical golden hair, a tower that touched the clouds, and the courage it takes to finally step into the light. Once upon a time, in a kingdom filled with flowers and sunshine, there lived a kind king and queen who wished for nothing more than a child of their own. And year after year, they hoped and dreamed. And finally, their wish came true. The queen was going to have a baby. But then something terrible happened. The queen became very ill. The royal doctors tried everything, but nothing worked. It seemed like all hope was lost. "There is one thing," whispered an old woman from the village. "High in the mountains, there grows a magical flower, a golden bloom that glows with the light of the sun itself. And they say it can heal any sickness." The king sent his bravest knights to search the mountains, and after many days, they found it a single golden flower shimmering in a hidden meadow. They brought it back to the castle, and the queen drank tea made from its petals. The magic worked. The queen grew strong again. And soon after, a beautiful baby girl was born. She had bright, curious eyes and the most extraordinary hair anyone had ever seen, long, silky locks that glowed like spun gold. And they named her Rapunzel, after the delicate flowers that grew in the castle garden. The whole kingdom celebrated. Lanterns were released into the sky, thousands of them, floating up like earthbound stars to honor the little princess. But not everyone was celebrating. Deep in the forest, there lived a woman named Gothel. She was old, older than anyone knew, because she had discovered the secret of the golden flower long ago. For centuries, she had used its magic to keep herself young and beautiful. And now the flower was gone. Its magic transferred to a baby's golden hair. Gothel wanted that magic for herself. One dark night, when the castle was quiet, Gothel crept into the royal nursery. She tried to cut a lock of Rapunzel's hair, but the moment her scissors touched it, the hair turned brown and lost its power. There was only one thing to do. She took the baby and vanished into the night. The king and queen searched everywhere. They sent soldiers to every corner of the kingdom. But Rapunzel was gone, hidden away where no one could find her. Every year on Rapunzel's birthday, the king and queen released thousands of lanterns into the sky, hoping somehow, somewhere, their lost princess would see them and find her way home. But years passed, and she never came. Before we find out what happened to Rapunzel, if you're enjoying this story, why not hit that subscribe button and ring the bell? That way, you'll never miss a fairy tale. Now, let's discover where our princess has been all this time. Far, far from the kingdom, hidden in a secret valley surrounded by cliffs, stood a tall stone tower. It had no doors, no stairs, just one single window at the very top, so high up that birds would rest on its ledge. And inside that tower lived Rapunzel. She had grown into a kind and curious young woman with a heart full of wonder. Her golden hair had never been cut, so now it was impossibly long, 70 feet of shimmering gold that she would loop and coil around the tower room. Gothel, whom Rapunzel called Mother, had told her that the outside world was dangerous, full of monsters and villains and people who would hurt her. "The tower keeps you safe, my flower," Gothel would say, stroking Rapunzel's magical hair. "Mother knows best." And Rapunzel believed her. She had never known anything else, but still she wondered. She would sit at her window for hours, watching the birds soar past, feeling the breeze on her face, gazing at the distant mountains. She filled her days with painting and reading and singing. She had a pet chameleon named Pascal, who was her only friend. And every year on her birthday, she would see something magical in the night sky. Lights. Hundreds of floating lights, rising from somewhere beyond the mountains, drifting across the darkness like a river of stars. "Wow, what are they?" Rapunzel would whisper to Pascal. "Why do they only appear on my birthday? I have to know. I have to see them up close." The day before her 18th birthday, Rapunzel gathered all her courage. "Mother," she said when Gothel came to visit, "I want to leave the tower, just for a little while. I want to see the floating lights." Gothel's face grew cold. "Absolutely not. The world is too dangerous. You are too precious. You will stay here, where I can protect you." And with that, as she climbed down Rapunzel's hair and disappeared into the forest, Rapunzel sat alone in her tower, feeling smaller than ever. Would she be trapped here forever? But then something unexpected happened. A young man came climbing up the tower wall. His name was Flynn Rider, or at least that's what he called himself. He was a thief, running from the royal guards after a job gone wrong. He had spotted the tower and thought it would make a perfect hiding place. He certainly wasn't expecting to find a girl inside, and he definitely wasn't expecting her to hit him over the head with a frying pan. When Flynn woke up, he found himself tied to a chair with 70 feet of golden hair. "Who are you?" Rapunzel demanded, holding her frying pan like a sword. "Are you here to hurt me? Are you a monster?" Flynn blinked at her. "A monster? I'm just well, okay, I'm a thief, but a charming one." Rapunzel studied him carefully. He didn't look like a monster, but he looked ordinary. A little scruffy, maybe, but not scary at all. And suddenly, she had an idea. "I'll make you a deal," she said. "You will take me to see the floating lights. You will bring me back safely, and in return, I won't turn you over to the guards." Flynn didn't have much choice. "Fine," he grumbled. "But for the record, this is not how I planned my day." Rapunzel's heart raced as she lowered her hair out the window. This was it. After 18 years, when she was finally leaving the tower, she climbed down slowly, her hands trembling. And when her feet touched the grass, soft, cool, wonderful grass, she laughed out loud with pure joy. "I'm out!" she cried, spinning in circles. "I'm actually out! This is amazing! This is terrifying! This is the best day ever!" Flynn watched her with an amused smile. He had never met anyone so excited about, well, everything. And so, their adventure began. Flynn led Rapunzel through the forest. Oh, and she marveled at everything, the trees, the flowers, the sound of a babbling brook. She splashed in streams and chased butterflies and talked to every animal they passed. At first, Flynn found her exhausting, but slowly something changed. Her wonder was contagious. He started seeing the world through her eyes, noticing things he had always ignored. They stopped at a friendly tavern, where Rapunzel won over a whole gang of scary-looking ruffians by asking them about their dreams. One wanted to be a pianist, one wanted to find true love, one collected ceramic unicorns. Everyone has a dream, Rapunzel realized, even people who look frightening on the outside. As they traveled, Rapunzel and Flynn talked, really talked. Flynn told her his real name, Eugene, and the sad story of his childhood in an orphanage. Rapunzel told him about her tower, her paintings, her longing to see those lights. Something was growing between them, something that felt like friendship, and maybe something more. But Gothel was searching for Rapunzel, and when she found her, she was furious. "That man is using you," Gothel hissed, appearing in the shadows. "He doesn't care about you. No one ever will. Come back to the tower where you belong." For a moment, Rapunzel felt the old fear creeping back. But then she thought about everything she had experienced, the kindness of strangers, the beauty of the world, the way Eugene looked at her, like she was the most amazing person he had ever met. "No," Rapunzel said, her voice stronger than she had ever heard it. "I'm going to see those lights, and then I'm going to decide for myself what happens next." That night, Rapunzel and Eugene rowed a little boat out onto the lake near the kingdom, just as the sun began to set. And then, the lights began to rise. First one, then 10, then hundreds, then thousands. Golden lanterns floated up from the kingdom, filling the sky like a sea of earthbound stars. They reflected on the still water, surrounding Rapunzel and Eugene in a world of warm, glowing light. Rapunzel's eyes filled with tears. "It's even more beautiful than I imagined," she whispered. "You know," Eugene said softly, "I've seen a lot of things in my life, but I've never seen anything as beautiful as you, right now, in this moment." Rapunzel smiled the biggest, brightest smile of her life. But Gothel wasn't finished. Using tricks and lies, she managed to capture Rapunzel and drag her back to the tower. She chained Eugene and left him to be caught by the guards. "You will never leave this tower again," Gothel snarled. But as Rapunzel sat in her room, surrounded by her paintings, she noticed something she had never seen before. Hidden in all her artwork were suns, golden suns, the symbol of the kingdom. She had been painting them her whole life without knowing why. And suddenly, the pieces fell into place. The floating lights on her birthday, the golden hair, the feeling that she had always belonged somewhere else. "I'm the lost princess," she breathed. When Gothel returned, Rapunzel faced her with fire in her eyes. "I know who I am now," she said, "and I will never let you use me again." But before Gothel could stop her, Eugene appeared at the window. The ruffians from the tavern had helped him escape, and he had climbed the tower to save Rapunzel. There was a struggle, and Eugene was hurt. Rapunzel begged to use her magic hair to heal him, but Eugene knew that as long as that hair existed, Gothel would never stop hunting her. With the last of his strength, he cut Rapunzel's hair. The golden locks turned brown and fell around her shoulders, ordinary and magic-free. Gothel, without the power she had stolen for so long, crumbled away to dust. Rapunzel cried over Eugene, holding him close, and as her tears fell on his face, tears of pure love, something wonderful happened. A single golden glow spread from where her tears had touched him. The magic wasn't in her hair, after all it had been in her heart all along. Eugene opened his eyes and smiled up at her. "Did I ever tell you," he said weakly, "that you have nice hair?" Rapunzel laughed through her tears and held him close. Together, they returned to the kingdom. And when the king and queen saw Rapunzel, their lost daughter, finally home, they embraced her with tears of joy. The kingdom celebrated for weeks. Rapunzel had found her true family, and Eugene had found something he never knew he was looking for: a place to belong and someone to love. Years later, they were married under a sky full of floating lanterns. And Rapunzel, who had spent so long trapped in a tower, finally understood the truth that had set her free. The walls that hold us back aren't always made of stone. Sometimes they're made of fear or lies, or the voice in our head that tells us we're not brave enough. But when we find the courage to step outside, to chase the lights, to follow our dreams, to trust our own hearts, we discover that the world was never as scary as we feared. It was full of wonder, waiting for us all along. And they lived happily, with full hearts and endless adventures, for the rest of their days. The end. Thank you so much for listening to today's fairy tale. I hope Rapunzel's story reminded you that you're braver than you believe, and that your dreams are always worth chasing. If you'd like to hear more magical stories, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an adventure. Until next time, sweet dreams, little dreamers.